Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
What's up, everybody? Real quick, before we jump into this episode, I have a message for every single person out there who is currently feeling lost, feeling like they don't have purpose, feeling like they lack direction. And as a result of feeling those things, you're frustrated. You're unfulfilled. You might feel like you've been wasting a lot of time, a lot of energy. You might feel some guilt. If that is you, then listen up, because I have something that's going to absolutely transform your life, and that is the Having It All Blueprint. I poured so much into this course because I was that person. I was in the shoes you are in right now. I felt like I had absolutely no purpose. I was so lost. I didn't even know what I was doing here. And I was frustrated looking back at all the money I spent at school and all the time I spent in all these different jobs, only to now be feeling like it was all for nothing. And so I went on a journey. I truly, truly dug into myself. And years later, after picking up all these different tools, reshaping my beliefs, I can stand here today knowing so crystal clear what my purpose is. And not only knowing it, but being completely fired up and inspired by it. And I want the same thing for you. And so I poured everything that I've learned into the Having It All Blueprint. If you purchase this course and you don't dig it and you don't experience transformation in your life, reach out to me. Full refund. Absolutely no risk in investing in yourself with this incredibly powerful tool. And I've used everything in the blueprint to transform not only my own life, but the lives of my clients as well. So it is proven. So if you're ready, if you feel like you've waited way too long to be experiencing a life that is fulfilling and exciting, where you're just turned on, can't wait to jump into all the things that you've got going on. If you don't want to wait anymore, jump over to MatthewBivens.com/blueprint and enroll in the Having It All Blueprint today. Once again, that's MatthewBivens.com/blueprint and join us. You too can have an abundant, loving life. I know it. I feel it. I'm excited for you, and I'm out. Peace. Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of the Having It All podcast. My name is Matthew Bivens, and I am excited. Yes, I am. I'm excited that you're here with me today. We get to dig into some fun, juicy topics, some really great conversations about what it looks like to have it all. Because that's my personal philosophy and the belief that I choose to wear on, because every belief is a choice. And I choose to believe that we all can have it all. Yes, yes, yes. And so I appreciate you joining me here today on this beautiful day. Whatever day it is, whatever day ending in DAY is a beautiful one, right? It certainly is. And before we jump into some stuff, it would be super cool if you could pull out your phone and hit subscribe on whatever device or app, I always say device, whatever app you are using to listen to this podcast. If you could subscribe, that would be so awesome. It would just help this message and this show just get out to more people so that we can grow this community of folks who are choosing to believe that they can have it all. Because the more brains that we have behind this movement, behind this belief, then the more it's just going to uplift the world. And that's what I'm playing for. So hit subscribe and we'll keep things rolling. Today's episode is super cool because I'm talking to you about habits of unsuccessful people. Yeah, unsuccess habits. Because I know you could just go on Google and type in success habits, and you could have a whole bunch of things that are like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this over here. But that's not what I want to bring to you today. I want to bring you a list of things to avoid. Like, these are habits you definitely don't want to be doing. And so it's going to be interesting because as I read through my list, I imagine you're going to hear a few things. You're like, oh man, I'm doing that. And that's great. This is going to give you some insight into some things that you might want to shift up. So it's going to be an awesome, awesome episode. And let's flow into some magic before we get into the meat of things, because as we are living abundant, loving lives, that's what the all in having it all stands for, abundant, loving life. As we are living that, we are going to be creating magical moments. And it's so important that we recognize these magical moments and stop and just pay attention to them just for a second, so that we never, 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 never forget that we have the power, that you are a powerful person and you are influencing your life all the time, every second. Because when you forget that, then it's easy to look around and feel helpless and feel frustrated and feel like you have no options and to feel like a victim. And so when we stop and recognize magical moments, you're actually able to empower yourself, and you're actually able to see that you do have it all right now. And so magic, that's your ability to influence self, others, in life in an empowering way. So I'm going to share a piece of magic, and then I want you to pause the episode, think of a piece of magic for yourself, lock it into your mind, and then continue listening. So my magic is I am traveling with Sarah and Maya and other members of my family to Europe. Yeah, we're heading to Europe tomorrow. It is Tuesday the 9th as I record this. And tomorrow on the 10th, we jump on a plane and we head to London. And we hang out in London for 5 amazing days, doing all sorts of fun things. And then we grab a flight and we zoom over to Slovenia. And my sister is getting married on the 19th in Slovenia. So we're going to spend 5 days in London, 5 days in a couple of cities in Slovenia, and then we head home. And that right in and of itself is magic. Sarah and I love traveling, and the last international trip we did was on our honeymoon. We went to Cambodia and Thailand. And so now we get to get some new stamps on our passport, bring Maya along for her first international trip, and we get to do it with family. That's going to be pretty cool. But the magic that I really wanted to acknowledge today was just how things have come together for this trip in ways that I didn't expect. And there's a number of different things that just like I was, a little worried about a couple things or just a little fixated on a few things, and then boom, they just fall in place. So one of them was my hotel in Slovenia. I had my dates wrong, and I didn't have a hotel for a certain night. And when I went on their website, there was no availability. So I'm kind of like, dang, I'm going to have to get a hotel that's away from the family and go through all this stuff. But my sister was able to reach out to them. And of course, when they say that they have no hotels available, that's not true. There always is something available, right? And so the dates got moved around and everything fell into place, and it was beautiful.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
And then I wanted to get some clothes for the wedding, some new clothes. So I was trying to think, all right, do I need to buy a new suit or buy some pieces here and there? And I was able to find an outfit for the wedding that came in under my budget. And that was awesome. So that fell into place. And then we have this house that's going to need, tending to for 2 weeks. We have a dog here. I've got my garden, and a friend of ours, she's amazing, and she was available to come and house it for us and take care of the home, take care of the dog while we're gone. And that is magical, and that fell into place. And then today, it was another really cool piece of magic because Sarah and I are big Harry Potter fans, and there's this tour that you can do in London that takes you into the Warner Brothers studio lot and shows you all the different Harry Potter sets and see little props from the movies and all that stuff. And we wanted to buy tickets, so I went on the website, and of course, it's been sold out for months. So there's nothing available till September. And we were like, dang, we missed out. But then I started digging a bit more, and I ended up calling another service, and they were able to get us tickets. So they got us tickets for the tour, and they got us tickets for something else we wanted to do, and that fell into place. So my magic is just how all these things are falling into place, and really I've been using a lot of faith and a lot of trust that everything will work out. And it's just hasn't always been easy, but I've been repping just being chill, being very present, and staying in my power. And really, my intention has been to do that before we go on the trip so that I can take all of that energy into the trip itself. And that all is magical to me. I'm super, super excited to be jumping on this plane tomorrow. And, it's going to be so much fun. So that's my magic. And now is your chance to pause the episode and think about magic for yourself. It can be big magic. It can be small magic. All of it counts. Think about a piece of magic, and then we'll zoom over to do some listener love because I got to give a shout out to you all. I'm so grateful to you for tuning into the show and for sharing it with other people and messaging me and all the stuff that you do. It's so cool. And so today's listener love goes out to Cass on Instagram. Cass, I'm so, so appreciative of you, first of all, listening to the podcast. That is awesome. I never take that for granted. And second, for you posting a story on your Instagram where you gave me a shout out. And that is so cool. I really do appreciate that love. It's a major deposit to me. And, it means a lot when you say, hey, this is something that I dig, and you post it on your public profile, because there's a lot of other people who are looking at that and they're trusting that anything that you share with them is going to be something of value. And the fact that you would share my show with the people on your Instagram, like that speaks volumes. And so Cass, I'm so grateful to you. Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure to be able to connect with you on Instagram. I look forward to keeping the conversations flowing. Now, if you'd like to be like Cass and connect with me and jump into a cool conversation, you can do so on Instagram, Matthew_Bivens. I love talking to you all on Instagram, and my Instagram inbox is about 99% messages from you. So it's not filled with all other stuff like my email is. But if you want to go the email route, that's cool too. You can hit me up on my personal email, mattcbivens@gmail.com. Hit me up. I answer every single email that I receive. Even if it takes me a little while, I answer them all because they all are so important and special to me. So hit me up. Let's connect. And quick reminder before we jump into the episode, quick reminder that I have some really awesome tools available, free tools available to you over on my website. So if you go to matthewbivens.com/tools, you'll see all of the stuff that I've got for you. And there's two that I want to shout out right now. The first is my word for the year tool. And so what this is a really awesome tool that's going to help you come up with a single word, a single powerful word that you can use to fuel yourself, to ignite that passion within you, to give you that reminder to keep going, to remind you about what you're playing for. And it's one word. It's not a whole full-blown mission statement. It's just a single word. And why it's important is right now, we're entering the second half of the year. And so if you go and use this tool, the word for the year tool, you're going to be able to get something incredibly powerful for you to focus on, for you to embody, and for you to become inspired by. And I've used a single word when in my life in a number of different occasions, and they're really great when you're experiencing adversity and challenges. Yeah, because you can use that word to fall back on for strength and boldness and perseverance. So go check that out. That's the word for the year tool. And the second tool I want to shout out real quick is the abundance benchmark. And that is an incredibly powerful self-assessment tool that's going to help you chart your path to your own abundant loving life by giving you a very clear picture of where you at. And it'll give you a clear picture of where you at in 9 areas of your life. So this tool is powerful, it's insightful, and it's definitely going to get you moving in the direction that you want to be going. So go check it out. It's something that I use myself as a check-in to see where I'm at in these areas, to see some places I might want to put some attention into, and to really just keep me focused on who it is I want to become. So go check that out. And again, both of those are at MatthewBivens.com/tools. There's some free stuff on there, and it's all for your, for your use, for you to be able to become the person you want to become, create the life you want to create, experience the healing, the growth, and transformation that you want. So go check it out. All right. Let me get a sip of water first, because that was a lot of talking, a lot of fast talking. And all right, let's flow into this episode. I'm excited about this one. This is actually inspired by a blog article that I read earlier today, actually. And it was on Medium, and the blog article was called 10 Habits of Unsuccessful People You Don't Want to Copy. And the author's name is Darius Faroo. And so I saw that, and I was like, wow, I really like that premise of let's give some habits you don't want to copy. Because again, like I said at the top of the episode, there's so many things out there that are telling you what you're supposed to do. Do this to be more effective. Do this to be more happy. Do this to be more successful. And a lot of times those are great, right? And a lot of times that's what we seek out. We're kind of saying, okay, what can I add into my toolbox? What can I add into my life? But every once in a while, it's nice to see something where it's like, hey, listen, you don't need to do more. How about do less? How about do a little bit less? And so I appreciated Darius for his original blog. And again, you can go check that out. Go to Medium, and you can just look up his name, Darius, Darius Faroo, Forous. And he's got a website and a podcast and all that great stuff. You can go check it out. And so I put together my own list. Yeah, I sat down and thought, okay, what are some of the habits that either I have used myself or I have formed myself in the past that have kept me from becoming the type of successful person I want to become, or just things that I know will keep you from being a success. And remember, there isn't a single definition for success. You get to define what success means in your life. But basically, however you define it, if you're doing these 12 habits, then it's going to prevent you from becoming successful. Because these are just things that, keep people stuck, keep people rooted in place, keep people playing small, all that great stuff, or ungreat stuff, however you want to look at it. So I'm going to read off this list. It's in no particular order, not at all. And let's kick it off. 12 different things that are potentially keeping you from being a success. So the first habit is that they shy away from discomfort. Yeah. Discomfort is a necessary ingredient for growth. It's a necessary ingredient to achieve great things, right? You've got to work towards your success. You've got to persevere. You've got to use grit. You have to dig deep. You got to push yourself beyond what you thought was capable. And it doesn't feel great in the process. It rarely does. But the results that you get, they expand you and they allow you to level up. So unsuccessful people, they avoid discomfort. They avoid it at all costs. And instead of things that are uncomfortable, they choose to interact only with people or environments or ways of thinking that allow them to stay in their comfort zone. Yep. The next habit of unsuccessful people is that they don't seek out healthy feedback and they avoid accountability. So feedback is something I've talked about a lot on this podcast, right? And feedback is simply data. It's simply information. Feedback is all around us. Feedback is what ensures a plane makes it to its final destination, because the instrumentation in the cockpit gives the pilots all sorts of information that allow them to just slightly adjust their trajectory. And that's how it reaches the final destination. Feedback is what helps a baby learn how to walk, right? Figuring out how to balance themselves, where to place their feet, how to maneuver their upper body. Feedback is how organisms in nature evolve. It's from feedback of the environment. Feedback coming in the form of predators. Maybe they need to evolve some sort of defense mechanism. Feedback basically is how everything grows. And it's what helps you correct your course as you are working towards accomplishing your goals and becoming just a more awesome person. And guess what? You can only get so much feedback from yourself. It's like it's hard to get feedback and perspective only coming from you. You know, it's kind of like with the perspective piece. It's kind of like, you know, you're never going to be able to see your eyeballs. You won't. You'll never be able to see your eyeballs because the only way you see them is a reflection in the mirror. So you can't really see them unless you're incredibly unfortunate to have an eyeball come out of your head in some way, right? Like that's kind of what perspective is and feedback as well. And so the accountability is all about keeping you true to doing what you say you're going to do, to becoming who you say you want to become. And so, you know, I've talked a lot about the accountability measures and the feedback measures that I've put into my life to become a successful person. And there's so much information out there about how accountability and feedback are ingredients for success. So the unsuccessful person avoids feedback like the plague. They avoid it because they don't want to see themselves for how they really are, for who they are truly being. They don't want to see that. Instead, they prefer to live in a state of denial. Yeah. The next habit of unsuccessful people is that they quit when things get hard. Guess what? You will never succeed in whatever it is that you're wanting to succeed in if you give up. It's just very simple. And I'm not talking about quitting an unhealthy job, right? Because it's not, you know, empowering you, so you quit it so that you can pursue something better. I'm not talking about that type of quitting. I'm talking about when you just quit because things have gotten tough. When you quit and you discount yourself and you shut down possibility, like you know what I'm talking about. You've probably done it at some point. Unsuccessful people have made a habit out of quitting things when they get difficult. The next unsuccessful habit is that they don't grow their mind. They don't expand their mental capacities. So you can think about your mind and your mental abilities and all the information, everything that you know, as a pie. Think of it as like a nice little pie chart from math class. There's a small slice of pie that make up all the things that you know in life. So it's like, I know how to tie my shoe. I know how to scramble eggs. All right, okay, that's in the small slice. Things that I know. Then there's a slightly bigger slice of things that I know I don't know. I know that I do not know trigonometry, right? I don't know how to cross stitch, right? And so that's a slightly bigger piece of the pie. So the things that you know, maybe 5%. The things that you don't know are maybe 15%. And then there's this big chunk, the vast majority of the pie, are the things you don't know that you don't know. That's the majority of your mental pie. Things that you do not know that you do not know. And so not expanding yourself mentally means that you're just hanging out in that little teeny sliver of your pie. You just get a little teeny sliver. And so unsuccessful people, they avoid learning. They avoid stretching themselves intellectually. They avoid expanding their minds. They avoid opening themselves up to new perspectives. They avoid possibly adopting or trying on new beliefs. The next habit of unsuccessful people is that they don't know how to focus and they're always distracted. So the ability to focus on one thing at a time and give it all that you have, that's a common characteristic of successful people, whether it's in business or in relationships or just like life in general. Like you got to be able to just focus on something for a finite period of time and then move on to something else. So like imagine you're on a first date, right? And you've been looking forward to this first date. You got the whole evening planned out. You get your clothes on. You're all swagged out and everything. And you're fully present with that person. You're looking at them in their eyes, and you're just like really hanging on to all their words. But here they are paying attention to the couple behind them. They're watching everything going on in the restaurant. They're distracted by Instagram notices on their phone, and they're thinking about all the plans that they have after their date with you. would you want to actually pursue anything after that date with that person? Would you want to continue? No, of course not, because they were distracted. It's a great way to mess up relationships. It's a great way to not create successful relationships in life. Think about like a parent or a business owner or a spouse who's just bouncing from one distraction to the next, just jumping from one thing to another, never giving any one thing a significant amount of their time or their attention. Do those people ever make meaningful progress in their lives? Do they ever really move the needle forward in a significant way? No. Not when you're distracted, not when you can't focus. And listen, I can comment on all three of those roles: business owner, parent, spouse. So I know that. Unsuccessful people are constantly giving into their distractions. They're constantly being distracted by things, and they don't create the space for focusing their time and their energy.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses. So don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
The next habit of unsuccessful people is they talk a lot of smack, but they don't back it up. They talk a lot of ish, but they don't back it up. I wanted to make this episode non-explicit, so family-friendly. So that's why I say ish. You know what I'm talking about, though. So for this one, you know, there are different types of people out there. There are people that talk, and there are people that do. There's also a third category of critics, but I think those are under talkers. So there's talkers and critics, and there's doers. Successful people, they back up their talk with their walk, right? Like, they're doers. They have a very high say-do ratio. What that means is if they say they're going to do something, there's a very, very high probability that they will actually do it. You know, it's that person who says, yeah, I will come and help you move. And you know that, like, they're going to be there, right? They're going to be there. And then there's other people, when they say, yeah, I'll come help you move, there's a part of you you're like, I give out a 50-50 chance because they're probably going to come up with some excuse the day before or the day of or the hour before, and they won't show up. That's a low say-do ratio. High say-do ratio people who walk their talk, you know, they're reliable, they're trustworthy, and they actually make things happen in life. Unsuccessful people, they talk a lot. They talk a whole lot, but they rarely ever take action. Their say-do ratio is very, very low. The next habit of unsuccessful people is that they procrastinate all the time. And this one actually goes hand in hand with the one above, talking a lot of stuff but not backing it up. Because with procrastination, that can really lead to having a low say-do ratio. You know, in order to succeed at anything, you've got to take action. You have to. At some point, you've got to move. Even if the thing you're trying to succeed at is being like very mindful and very meditative and very super chill. Like, even if that's what you want to do, at some point you have to actually practice those things. You can't just think about mindfulness and think about meditating all day long. You have to actually practice mindfulness and practice meditating. Unsuccessful people, they delay taking action. They overthink things. They overanalyze things. They end up underestimating their own abilities. Yeah, they start counting themselves out. They decide that, you know, now is just not the right time. Later will be the right time. Now is not the right time. Most of the time they're doing that out of fear. And they procrastinate constantly. The next habit of unsuccessful people, I think we're like halfway through the list. I think so. The next habit is they see life as glass half empty. You know, life provides you with content, and then you give it context, right? Things in life simply are. It's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. It just simply is. and then you place your meaning on top of it. And a lot of times the meaning that you place on top of something has to do with the lens through which you're looking at life, right? Because you see life not as it actually is, but as you are. You see life through a certain perspective. I see life through a Matthew perspective. And that influences how I see and feel about people, whether I notice opportunities coming my way, whether I actually see something as a magical moment or as a coincidence. All that has to do with my perspective. Successful people, they see the world, or at least the world that they want to be successful in, they see it as the glass is half full. They see possibility. They see abundance. They see opportunity. They see magic, and they're grateful for all of it. Unsuccessful people, they see things as crummy. The glass is just half empty. Things are always happening to them. Life is always just kicking them in the butt, knocking them down. They're just Debbie Downer type of people in general. Or at least they have those habits, those characteristics. The next habit of unsuccessful people is that they hang out with folks who really aren't doing a whole lot. And again, this one goes in line with the one above, because the people that they hang out with are probably glass half empty people themselves, right? And we've all heard this. You become the people you hang out with. You become the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. However it's put, you've heard that before. And that is very true. And that can have a number of consequences. The result of that can be empowering or disempowering, right? So like if you want to make more money, then go hang out with a bunch of people who have a healthy relationship to making money. Boom, you win, you go up. If you want to stay unfit and unhealthy, then hang out with a bunch of people who avoid healthy living. So you're not really going to win in that scenario. You're going to go down, or you're going to win at remaining unhealthy. Unsuccessful people, they've got too many folks in their lives who just bring their energy, their health, their perspective, their self-esteem, their vibe. They bring it down. They bring it down. The next habit of unsuccessful people is that they aren't generous. Giving to others, whether it's giving your time or your money or your resources or your energy or your love, like giving to others is a hallmark of the successful person. And there are way too many inspirational quotes out there about the power of giving to others and helping others. There's so many. Go and Google it. It's just one of those things that folks that really get ahead in life in any area, they have this quality of generosity, this quality of service, right? This quality of, looking after their fellow human. Unsuccessful people is the opposite. They're kind of stingy. They have a lack mindset, and therefore they don't give to other people. They don't share in the abundance that they have, their abundance of time, love, energy, resources. They aren't generous. The next habit of unsuccessful people is that they believe they can do it all themselves. And this one goes hand in hand with the previous one about not being generous. Because the person who doesn't want to give to others, they often create this world, this perspective where, they don't trust other people. And therefore, they're like, I can't do anything with other people. I got to do it all myself. And what's kind of interesting about this one is that we live in a society that loves to celebrate individual success stories. I mean, if you go into, a CVS and go look at magazines, a lot of times you see an individual person on the cover. This person has done an amazing physical feat, and they're on the cover of, Women's Health. Or this person has created the next unicorn business, and they're on the cover of Entrepreneur. What is actually true about that person and their story is that they had a whole group of people behind them helping them in some way. It doesn't matter what type of success, business success, family success, health success, whatever. Those individuals, they have a crew of folks. They got a whole gang load of people behind them, supporting them, guiding them, giving them feedback, picking them up when they fall, loving them, and more. Unsuccessful people, they reject the idea that it takes a village. And instead, they choose to believe that they can do everything by themselves. And that brings us to our final habit of unsuccessful people. They habitually doubt themselves. Now, it takes a lot of faith to become a success in life. Faith, remember, is when you exercise trust and surrender together. Trust plus surrender equals faith. So trusting yourself, that means trusting your abilities, trusting your worthiness and your value, trusting your ability to persevere and survive in the face of adversity. All of those things are a major, major part of becoming a success. Unsuccessful people, they don't trust themselves. They doubt their abilities, and they're constantly talking themselves out of even trying. So that, my friends, is a list of 12 habits of unsuccessful people that you definitely don't want to copy in your life. And so at this point, you could probably identify with a few of the habits I listed. I imagine some of them you were like, oh, I do that. Or, yep, you're describing me. And so, like I said before I started the list, what's cool about this is I'm not telling you to do more stuff, right? I'm not telling you to start adding all these things into your already full life. I'm actually telling you to do less. If you want to make a shift based on what you heard in this episode, then slowly reduce the unsuccessful habits that you have in your life. Or if you can, just go straight up cold turkey and just stop them cold turkey. That's even better. And as you start to dial back those unsuccessful habits, whatever it is, I want you to then dial up some successful, effective, healthy habits that you can put in place of those. And you'll pretty much know what the healthy and successful habit is by just thinking of the opposite of the unsuccessful one. You know what I'm saying? And so for any of the 12 that I mentioned, if you want to figure out like what's the thing that I should be doing in place of this, well, just do the opposite most of the time. And over time, you will start to see that you check off less and less of the habits on this list. You know, and you're like, oh wow, okay. When Matthew first talked about these, I think I was doing like 3 or 4 of them, and now I'm doing 1 or 2 of them. Wow, okay. And the goal may not be to totally eliminate some of these, but maybe just do them a little bit less. Maybe if you do it 9 times out of 10, then see if you can get it down to 5, and then see if you can get it down to 3. And then maybe you can experience life the way that you want, even if you're doing these habits at 3 times out of 10. Okay, cool. The point is, if some of these unsuccessful habits are things that are very strong for you, that you're doing time and time again, over and over and over, like you're a pro at them, then you might want to consider making some shifts. So gradually reduce the unsuccessful ones and gradually replace them with more successful habits. And you're going to see your life change. I 100% guarantee your life will change and start moving in the direction that you want it to as you dial back the unsuccessful habits and dial up the successful ones. All right? So that's it. That's it for today. If you thought maybe, Matthew, there should be a 13th habit or a 14th on the list, and if you want to add some to the list, then hit me up. Email me at mattcbivens@gmail.com, or you can hit me up at Instagram, Matthew_Bivens, and I'll share them, right? Because there's a whole bunch of habits, and if there's some that you really, really think I missed, let me know, and I'll share them on Instagram. I'll do a follow-up episode and all that great stuff. So next time you hear from me, it's going to be after my family and I return from London. So I'm just preparing you right now that the magic portion of the next episode is probably going to be long as heck. Yeah, because we're going to have a lot of magic. So just get ready for that. Buckle in. Magic's going to be all over the place, and that's a beautiful thing. So have an amazing rest of your day. Keep being awesome. Keep being yourself. Keep loving yourself, loving on others, being grateful, and just overall have that abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and here is to you having it all. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a guy with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal, physical, or mental health.